Hi YouTube and welcome to my channel. My name is Patrick. I'm a cybersecurity professional in the Midwest US, and today I'm going to teach you how you can secure your iPad running iPadOS 18. So let's dig right in. So tip number 1, you should enable advanced data protection. So what is that? Well, advanced data protection takes all of your data in iCloud and it end-to-end encrypts it. So what that means is that the only thing that can access your data are your devices, meaning not even Apple can get into it. This ensures that your information is secure from unauthorized access. So let me show you how to do this. On your iPad, go into the Settings app, and then click on your iCloud username in the upper left-hand corner, then click on iCloud, and then you'll see at the bottom Advanced Data Protection. I already have it turned on, but if you don't, you'll have a toggle here. Follow the steps, and I do have some warnings though. So you should never forget your Apple ID password or your encryption password. So, if you forget your password, there's no way Apple can get you your data back. Also, set up an emergency contact. Establish a trusted contact that'll walk you through how to do that. Someone who can help you regain access if you end up locked out. And also bear in mind, this prevents you from being able to access your iCloud data on the web, because in order for it to be available on the web, Apple needs to be able to see it, and because Apple can't see it because you've encrypted it, you can't do that. Right, tip number 2, backup to local storage. So why would you want to do this? So by default, all of your backups on your iPad go up to iCloud, which is good. You don't have to think about it. It's very straightforward, and I think that's the reasonable thing for most people to do. But if you want to get really serious about the security of your data, you should consider taking the backups of your iPad and putting them on your Mac or Windows computer. So the logic behind this is that, again, Apple's servers are not magically immune to hackers. It's possible for somebody to hack Apple and then get into your backups. So something that you can do is store your backups on your computer. Now, there's a few caveats here. Remember, you'll need to regularly update your backups manually. And also, you gotta keep it safe. You're gonna be the one responsible for keeping it safe. If your computer gets hacked, or if someone has physical access to your computer, then the only thing standing between them and your backup is your encryption password. And speaking of the encryption password, use a strong password and do not forget it. Because if you forget it, you're not going to be able to access anything in your backups. So here's how you can do this. First, open up Finder on your Mac or download the Apple Devices application on your Windows computer. Then you're going to click on the name of your iPad here on the left-hand side, and then you'll have in the middle section here where it says Backups. You're going to select Backup all of the data on this iPad to your Mac, and then you're going to check the box that says Encrypt Local Backup. Here you'll enter a password, and that will be used to encrypt your backups that are stored on your disk. So yeah, very straightforward, right? Alright, so tip number 3. Disable location services when you don't need it. So one thing that your iPad is really good at is keeping track of your location. And that's both good and bad. It's good because there's a lot of handy features that rely on having your location. That's bad because applications will generally try to check your location, and some of them might be sending that information back to the app developer, who could potentially be using that to track you. Obviously, being tracked is bad, so here's how to turn that off. Go into the Settings app on your iPad, then go to Privacy and Security. You're going to see an option up here that says Location Services, and this is where you have some choices to make. You can either turn it off altogether, which will be the most comprehensive way of getting this privacy, or you can select the specific apps that you want to have access to your location. I recommend doing the latter, because if you just manage what apps access your location, you're still gaining a good amount of security, but you're not totally cutting off some useful features. And also, you need to consider if you lose your iPad, then you're going to need to use the Find My network, which relies on location services. Alright, so tip number 4, use a strong alphanumeric password. So by default, an iPad has a 6-digit PIN, and that 6-digit PIN is all that stands between somebody and all the data on your iPad. So obviously that's pretty bad because a 6-digit PIN is pretty easy to hack. Advanced forensics tools, some of which are used by the police, are capable of hacking a 6-digit PIN pretty quickly, so a strong alphanumeric password is much harder to crack. So here's the thing about this. You're either going to be using your fingerprint or your face scan to unlock your iPad. You're very rarely going to need to type in your alphanumeric password, so this is not a very big inconvenience, and it's worth the extra little bit of security that you get for it. So again, we're going to go into Settings, and then we're going to go to Face ID and Passcode. It's going to ask me for my passcode here. And then you're going to hit Change Passcode there at the bottom. So you tap that, enter your old PIN, enter the new password, enter it again, and again, don't forget your password. If you do, you'll be locked out completely. Alright, and tip number 5, do not install random apps on your iPad. Look, only install an application if you trust the developer who created it. If you've never heard of the developer, Google them, look them up, see how reputable they are. But don't just go willy-nilly installing whatever on your iPad. I mean, this is more of a common sense thing, but if you put something on your computer, you need to consider that it's on your computer along with all of your sensitive data. Alright, and tip number 6, you should encrypt your sensitive files. Now I know we've done a lot of encryption so far, right? We have encrypted our iCloud data, we have encrypted our backups, and we have encrypted the data on our iPad, but we can take it a step further if you're trying to get really serious about security. There's an app, and if we go into the App Store, I'll show you how to find it, and it is called Disk Decipher. So all we're going to do, this is very simple, just download the application, should install pretty quick, it's a real small one. And then you're going to open it. Now from here we can create an encrypted container. An encrypted container is basically a file that contains other files. And that is where you store your super sensitive data. In order to get into it, you'll need to enter a password. So again, don't forget this password, but what we're going to do here is add and then create a new disk. I'll just name it test. Then we'll enter the size, so I want a gigabyte, and then the location. So we're going to do a local location, and then you just enter your password, and then another cool feature here is you can select key files. So key files are basically a file that you have to present to the container that says, okay, this is the key to unlock the container. Then the rest of this stuff you can leave at default, but that's just going to create the container. And then once that's done, you can go into your Files app, you can tap on Disk Decipher, and that will open up all of the files that you have saved in Disk Decipher. Alright, and tip number 7. Manage your application permissions. Now this isn't new, but it's something that you should do regularly. So we're going to go back into the Settings app, and then we're going to go to Privacy and Security, and then you're going to have access to all of these categories of privacy aspects. So basically you can disable your Bluetooth for an app, you can disable your camera for an app. A good rule of thumb is that if the application does not need a certain feature, then you should turn it off so that that application can't use it to track you or spy on you. It's very straightforward. Alright, and tip number 8, lockdown mode. Now, if you're a politician, an activist, a journalist, you may be targeted by advanced threat actors, ATPs. So this means that you need extra protection. Lockdown mode is a feature that disables commonly attacked things on your device. It reduces your attack surface. Now, if you turn this on, you're going to lose a lot of very useful features. So only do this if you're able to live without these features and have good reason to believe you're a targeted person. To do this, you're going to go into Settings, go to go to Privacy and Security, and then at the bottom you have an option called Lockdown Mode. And again, only turn this on if you have a good reason to think you're being targeted by advanced threat actors, but this will go the extra mile in keeping your iPad secure. And there you have it. By following these steps, you're well on your way to making the iPad a fortress of privacy and security. Now remember, staying secure, that's an ongoing process. So make sure to regularly review your settings and stay informed about the best practices. If you found this video useful, give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more tech tips and tutorials. Thank you for watching, stay secure, and I'll catch you in the next one.